Make no mistake about it, if Barack Obama, Joe Biden, or Kamala Harris were intentionally wrecking the economy for sport, texting war plans in unsafe avenues and adding reporters to it, the right wing and all of the Republicans would be screaming impeachment at the top of their lungs. The drumbeat would be so loud and so sustained. Much to my surprise, I scanned the news this morning, news channels, the internet, headlines, didn't see it anywhere. So we're going to start the drum right now. 25th Amendment, this MFer right now. Save our economy, save our country from these corrupt criminals. Otherwise, we're going to lose the country as we know it, and other countries are going to fill the void. Put up this first headline. China hits back at U.S. with 84% tariffs and calls on the world to unite against Trump tyranny. This is not going to be a very difficult argument for China to make because nobody likes Trump except for the cult of personality that lives in the right-wing media echo chamber in the United States. The world will unite against America because of this man. That's why impeachment is so important. It is our only way out of this shit show that he has driven us into.
Well, and he's alienated Canada first right out of the box. NATO alienated them. So, of course, they're all going to unite against the United States, as they should, because he's wrecking the global economy with zero plan.
Here's his plan. Put up his tweets from today. This is a great time to buy. And then he initials it DJT. And then he also tweets, be cool. Everything is going to work out well. The USA will be bigger and better than ever before. This is what MAGA does. They create an imaginary problem and then they swoop in and try to fix it. But they're so over their skis on this and the cascading effect that this is going to have on the reputations and the veracity and the integrity of United States of American companies is going to be devastating for a very long haul. Be cool is not a policy. These are the ramblings of a lunatic, which is why we need to get a very cohesive message around the 25th Amendment. This is the only way out of this. The only way to save our country and our economy and our norms and our Constitution and to make sure we have free and fair elections forever is to get this man out of office. He is deranged. He needs a straitjacket and a padded cell.
He's calling this tariff, putting all these tariffs because it's a national emergency. That in itself is crazy. That's 25th Amendment worthy, in my opinion.
He's created a fake problem.
Yes.
And this is what they do. This is what MAGA does. They create fake problems and then they rush in like they're going to fix them. Next up, let me show you what's going viral in China. Put up the post. On the Chinese social media site Weibo, 5 of the top 10 trending hashtags on Wednesday morning were about the tariffs. The top hashtag, America is fighting a trade war while begging for eggs. We are the laughingstock. This is not a serious country any longer. The clock is ticking at a very rapid speed. Republicans, stop. This man is not a spring chicken. Does the world, do we want this guy dying thinking that he was right, that people supported him? Or are we going to right this wrong? Trump is wrong. Everything about him is wrong unless you want to live in a dictatorship with a very corrupt government. And apparently, MAGA wants that. But I believe the overwhelming majority of Americans don't want that. That we want a democracy, that we want a regulated capitalistic society that's not favored by who can be the nicest to Trump or who can kiss the ring. This is a 911 houses on fire. I think he's got to get impeached immediately.
I completely agree. But then I go back to next in line is J.D. Vance. I mean, and then you have Mike Johnson. I mean, we are at a tipping point with the leadership being authoritarian.
Right. But I think you start righting one wrong.
Right.
J.D. Vance would have a much more, he's very unlikable. favorability rankings are very, very low. And so you can't keep Trump in just because JD Vance is waiting in the wings, because you have to start attacking somewhere. We can't just be silent and let these men get away with all of this stuff with impunity. And more than anything, we can't let them ruin our country, ruin our economy. There's tons of people out there that voted for him, that their 401ks are underwater. People that worked their entire lives, never even dreamed of having a 401k, and they're waiting for their measly Social Security. And Elon Musk and these crusty white Republicans don't want them to have it, all in the name of Jesus. It's really, really gross. But let me just tell you guys, this is where it's more than just what you see on the stock market every day. Put up this next headline. Amazon just canceled inventory orders from China over tariffs. That's not a policy shift. That's a full-blown supply chain freakout. When one of the biggest retailers on earth starts pulling the plug on Chinese imports, you know the tariffs aren't just headlines. They're detonations.
That's very telling, because we all know Amazon is a powerhouse. And what's happening here is that these billionaires that supported Trump, now it's going to start affecting their businesses. Will they do anything about it? I mean, this is so crazy to me that he is tariffing, that the global economy for generations is going to be different because this man has no plan and he's just trying to wreck the government for no reason. It's crazy.
This is going to be a moment in history where we're going to see brave people come out. And this is a moment where Jeff Bezos, if he had a spine or a modicum of morality or decency or patriotism, would have an immediate press conference and say, it was a mistake. What I did with the Washington Post was a mistake. Supporting Trump was an absolute mistake. This is a disaster. I was wrong. I call on all business leaders and all Republicans to move forward with the 25th Amendment. This has got to start somewhere, and it will start getting momentum. We have to have somebody brave that has the ability to message to across both party aisles. Now, does the left Jeff Bezos right now? No, we don't, because he's gross. It's disgusting to be that wealthy and then try to get more wealthy and throw your morals and integrity down the toilet to support somebody like Donald Trump. But this is going to be a moment where somebody like Bezos, somebody who supported Trump, needs to step up to the plate. And let's take a look. This guy's been on my radar lately. This guy's name is Bill Ackman, and he wrote a 30-page manifesto before he jumped on the Trump train, trying to convince everybody that he had found Jesus on Trump. This is during the election, and that Trump's going to be pro-growth and all of this. Look at this side-by-side video of this billionaire. And from what I've read, this man was upset by the anti-Palestine protests on U.S. campuses, and that's how he's gone full hard right Trump. And listen to how well this is working out for billionaire Bill Ackman.
We're stepping into, I would say, the most pro-growth, pro-business, pro-American administration I've perhaps seen in my adult lifetime, certainly. President Trump will do nothing that interferes with the success of the country, the success of the economy.
A few moments later.
I don't think this was foreseeable. I assumed economic rationality would be paramount. My bad.
My bad. I mean, this is what it's going to be. You need to have a more forceful statement, but some of these business leaders in the country that have, thousands of employees need to have a joint press conference. This is a moment for heroes. Mm-hmm. This is a moment for bravery. This is a moment to use your First Amendment right while you still can. Because listen up, oligarchs. All you have to do is study what Putin's done, because that's Trump's business model. Putin killed the oligarchs that put him into power. He killed them. He disappeared them, and now he has their money. That's what your future is going to be if you don't find some moral clarity in this moment and come out and speak. This is dire. This is devastating. And the gaslighting that goes on the right is disgusting. But these people are in some sort of fucked up, weird cult, and we can let them figure that out themselves. In the interim, we all have to band together to try to save democracy. Next up, here is Trump's approval rating. Let's put this up. With 18 to 29-year-olds, he has gone from a +5 to a -29. 9. When you start seeing somebody underwater this much, this is when you can start beating the drum about impeachment. We can start with all of the, he did a car commercial in the driveway of the Oval Office. He's running some sort of crypto scheme. There's so many ethical violations, lies, military compromised situations, intentionally wrecking the economy. Again, if a Democratic president were doing all of these things, there would already be articles of impeachment on the floor. Next up, we have Moses Mike is in a little bit of trouble with House Republicans, and I have to read this to you all. But as Johnson tries to wrangle the votes for the Senate-adopted budget, there is another larger problem for the Speaker. He's losing goodwill among House Republicans. According to 3 sources, Stubbe went off on Johnson during Tuesday's meeting, calling the Speaker a liar and saying, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." How about that?
So you're telling me "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus" is going on in the halls of Congress in the United States in the year 2024?
It doesn't surprise me one bit because we have a crazy Christian problem in this country.
Oh my gosh. I mean, first of all, no one needs to be rebuked more than Mike Johnson, but it just falls on deaf ears when he's rebuked in the name of Jesus.
I mean, I like the inner MAGA super Christian.
Oh, for sure.
Rebuking the other in the name of Jesus. I love the irony in that. I'm here for it. I've got my popcorn. Okay. Lastly, we have, how is Fox News spinning this? These are the patriots. These are the pro-military, pro-economy, free markets.
Real Americans.
Real Americans. Donald Trump just loves the country. Joe Biden, the stock market fell 100 points and they're over there just melting down. How are they covering this? How is Fox News covering this? Here's what they had on this morning while the global market is in a free fall and China is calling on everyone to unite with them against the United States.
90% of people probably say outside of Hollywood. I mean, it feels like, Tinseltown does this with every classic film these days and classic franchises for that matter. Take many things that are untouchable, characters are characters, and apply them to another gender or apply to another sexual orientation or another race, all in the name of checking off boxes and not improving the story. So are we going to see a trans James Bond at some point or a female playing 007 at some point? Probably.
That's so helpful. I mean, if you're watching Fox News, your problems are solved.
A trans James Bond. Kylie, play what we think about these people. It's unbelievable. If you don't like James Bond, you don't like trans people, there is no trans James Bonds. But if there was, why do you care? It's a free country. Some of us want a free country. We want freedom in arts, freedom for people to be, dress, believe however they want to be. If people sit around and listen to this, I think your IQ would have to decrease as you're listening to that if you start to think that that's a real problem and that you're that big of a baby that you would be outraged over something like that. And he's just sitting there spitballing while the global markets are in complete free fall. Their go-to is let's feed some transphobia or some racism to our cult base. This will make them feel good. This is their comfort food.
This surprises me zero because Trump spent millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars on trans ads. He got people out to vote based on trans issues, even though it's not real. There's 10 in the whole NCAA and all it was women in sports. So it surprises me zero that Trump is creating the biggest mess in the history of the world. We're on the precipice of a recession, maybe even a depression, and they're rolling out trans issues. These people fucking suck.
No, they really do. And this is why we have to have some people stand up. The media needs to stand up and start calling for the 25th Amendment. You need to call Republican Congress people. This has got to be the drum that we beat. The only way out of this is for this man to be removed from office. And if the roles were reversed, articles of impeachment, the whole thing would be going down. And guess what? Democrats would sign along with it if their leader was intentionally tanking the markets and saying, I'm going to hurt you, but you're going to like it and it's going to be good for you later. And I have no evidence for this other than some dipshit named Peter Navarro who made up a fake expert to quote things. All right, we're on our way to 1 million subs. Make sure you subscribe and we'll see you all later.